Yeah, Finance Friday time. Another edition of First Ontario's Chief Operating Officer, Mark Perkins. We haven't had a chance to talk yet, so great to have you on the couch here Mark. So it is March 1st, and March is Fraud Prevention Month, and it's an important time because you have so much with the CRA and tax season and all of that. Things are becoming so sophisticated when it comes to frauds.
Yeah, no, absolutely, and you're bang on there, Tim. You know, the first thing I wanted to start with is the Canadian Anti-Fraud Centre. Okay. They're the government agency who is responsible for monitoring fraud and for fraud prevention, and you know they're the ones who promote the March is Fraud Prevention Month.
Fraud Prevention Month.
So you know, let's start with. They've also recently come out with their 2023 report. So I just want to start really high level so the viewers understand kind of the magnitude of this issue. So in 2023, there was over 62,000 reports of fraud. There was over 41,000 victims of fraud. And here's the scary one. Those individuals lost over $550 million to these scammers, these fraudsters, these criminals. So while there's a lot of resources out there, there's a lot of education, you know, these fraudsters, these bad actors are making it harder and harder to determine what's legitimate and what's a scam.
How do we protect ourselves when it comes to these scammers?
Well, knowledge, you know, same thing, whether it's mortgage, interest rates, anything in the background, it's education is so important, so knowing what's out there. So, you know, the Canadian Anti-Fraud Centre has a website that you can go get that information, but really you need to understand kind of the premise, the basics around how these bad actors are trying to take advantage of you, and that's two things. They're trying to create a sense of legitimacy. They're going to pretend to be a representative from your credit union, your bank, your utility, a trusted brand like Costco or Amazon. They'll even pretend to be the police or the Canadian government. You mentioned the CRA, scam, and that one's just around the corner, right? We're coming into tax season. The CRA will not text you to let you know that you have a past due payment, nor will they threaten jail time or punitive fees and penalties if you don't pay. So, you know, again, that's creating that legitimacy. They'll pretend to be a family or friend member. And it'll come from every direction: email, phone, text.
Text is the big one that I find. Every morning I'm getting up and I have a couple of text messages from a number that I don't know saying that I need to click here to do something such and such. Like text messages for me are even more than, well, the emails a lot of the time they go into the junk box, so you can't keep up with all of them. But the text message, it's feeling that much more personal where they do have my number and texting you.
And so just delete those. That's really important. And it's creating that anxiety and that urgency over a time frame to act because there's going to be a consequence. And in some cases, it'll be the removal of a good. They'll say, we've been trying to track you down for ages. We finally got a hold of you. You have the benefit of this reward or this rebate. And then if you act quickly, you can still get on the list. And if you don't, you won't get that benefit. And so that's the urgency, the call to act. But it's more common that it's punitive, it's negative, it's the CRA, it's, you know, you're gonna experience a punitive result if you don't act immediately.
It says strong passwords. I have so many passwords rolling around in the old noggin, like it's really coming up with these, but that is important to have these passwords and then tracking them somewhere else. Of what the passwords are for what entity.
Yeah, there's lots of tools and templates for consolidation of passwords. So you know, you want to have a strong password in places. It's all really, everything comes down to protection of financial and personal information. So verifying who you're dealing with and ensuring that anybody who's asking that for information is a legitimate source. Now you mentioned passwords, and this is something that you know, we talk about the evolution and the maturity of the fraudsters, of the bad actors, and using artificial intelligence and things like that. It's gaining ground, but you know, on the good side of the ledger, we do have things like multi-factor authentication out there. So I have received a lot of feedback from individuals that, you know, this is a pain in the butt. It's an extra step. For those who don't know multi-factor authentication, that's when you enter in your account ID and your password, and then you get an email or a text with a code.
Get an email back, but you do start to see that a lot more.
And then you have to put your code in, and then you can get your personal information.
That is a real thing that we're starting to see too. Okay.
Yes.
So all good tips here as we run out of time. But if you do become a victim, contact your local police and any Canadian Anti-Fraud Centre. And if you have a financial question or topic that you want covered, email your questions to financefriday@firstontario.com. The question or topic is covered on air. You'll receive a gift card from First Ontario.